Today is going to be one of these important videos that you have to watch till the end because I'm going to share with you exactly how we've closed a $20,000 AI agency client just using Facebook ads. I'm going to share my screen, share with you the Facebook ads, the creatives, the sales call. I'm going to share with you literally everything. And the offer that we've used, the service delivery that we sold to this client in order for us to convince them to pay us $20,000 up front. So now we get this out of the way. Here you can see my screen inside Facebook ads with the exact results. So we spent about $742 in ads. We literally got about 45 leads with the cost of $16 per lead. And one of these leads is the AI agency client that paid us $20,000 for the AI infrastructure we built for him. But other than this lead, just from $742 in ads, we made close to $7,500 back outside the $20,000 client. So in total, it's $27,500. So literally, out of $742 in ads, we made 30x back, which is $27,500. I don't want to promise you the word. I don't want you to try and test Facebook ads with these expectations because this expectations usually don't happen. What I usually shoot for is for every dollar I spend on ads, I should be getting $7 to $10 back. But 7 is the minimum, right? So if I spend $1,000 in ads next week, I should be putting $7,000 in revenue. But sometimes you can have these scenarios where one client could be sold for $20,000, and those scenarios will not happen to you if you're a beginner, would happen to you only if you have the right testimonials. Because when you have this big testimony, you're just playing the agency on easy mode. And also, in order for us to justify $20,000 for this client, we first of all show them testimonials of what we've done for other businesses, his niche. I mean, he was blown away by the results we got for them just for the amount of money he spent. So literally, like if you're gonna convince someone to pay $20,000, they gotta see themselves making at least $200,000 back. So if you don't make them see that they gotta make $200,000 back from paying you $20,000, it's impossible for them to pay this $20,000. And also, after we send them the invoice, we had to send them a recommendation from other clients. So he had conversations with some other client of ours. And after these conversations, he agrees to pay the total amount because I want to keep it real with you guys. I don't want most of you to go in this with the expectation of, hey, I'm starting my AI agency tomorrow. I have no testimonials, I have no experience, and I'm going to go. And it's literally easy to convince somebody to pay me 20K or 10K, right? It's not. But if you don't have testimonials to start out, you have to listen to this video till the end because I'm going to show you some exact strategy you can use to start even without testimonials in 2025.
If you actually love AI as much as I do and you want to scale your AI agency past $30,000 per month, then check out the offer that we have below. So basically what we do is we scale AI agencies to multiple six figures.
Using one client acquisition system, one offer, one pricing, and 3 upsells. And basically, we take only a small commission out of it. So that means if you don't sign any new clients, you don't pay. Simple as that. So if you want to learn more about it, check out the offer that I have below. And you can check out all the amazing testimonials from students that we help scale their agencies past 10 grand a month. So now that we get this out of the way, the reason I'm putting so much light and so much attention into testimonials is because it's literally the difference between closing a $1,000 client and a $20,000 client. It's literally the difference between having a 10% closure rate and a 50 and 60% closure rate. That's why I'm talking too much about it. So now, how do you go about if you have no testimony? Because literally for us to have these testimonials that we have right now, it's gotten us years to get these testimonials. So now if you don't have them, number one, what you can do is basically you can white label your services to another AI automation agency that already have testimonials. So by white labeling your services to them, you can get their consent to use this testimonials instead. And that's something that I would do if y'all were new shoes, I would start right now. Because that, even if I give them a bit of money, I can leverage these testimonials to close a higher closure rate. So it's going to be a fast track for me as closing higher and closing these high ticket deals. Now, if you don't want to white label your services, any AI automation agency, and you want to go in it alone without testimonials, you got to understand that basically you got to be able to sacrifice 5 to 6 months in order for you to get some testimony. What I mean sacrificing is what? Is maybe you're going to get work for client for free, work with clients for just basically a fraction of the price that you could get paid if you had testimonies, like $1,000, $1,500, like maybe less than that. That's why for all AI agencies that we have in the program, we have a section called agency collaboration. And this section is only for AI agencies making less than $10,000 per month, where they can use each other testimonials. They can basically help each other and can use each other testimonials with their consent, of course, in order for them to have a lot of testimonies in hand. So if you had one testimony, for example, inside the AI agency collaboration, you would basically join that group and you would have the consent to use other 10 testimonials. What I mean testimonials, they're not just like screenshots that you can show. Those are video testimonials of client praising your services and also contacts in terms of phone numbers and emails of these clients that you can give to your prospect to help you close them. So now that we get this out of the way, right now I want to show you the importance of choosing one ICP. What I mean by an ICP, ideal customer profile, in other words, a niche. Most of you would have this idea of, hey, the more niches I can work with, the better, because then instead of having 10,000 businesses in that niche, if I work with 10 niches, I'll have 100,000 businesses. That makes sense, from another perspective. Let me tell you why this idea is very, very stupid. Because literally, if you specialize with one niche and work only with one niche, you would have one client acquisition system dialed in for that niche, right? So you know exactly how to get meetings booked with this niche specifically, because the creatives that you're going to have are going to be different for 10 other niches. The second thing, you're going to have so many testimonials that you can use for that niche specifically inside the sales process, right? So for example, you work with roofers, right? And you show them some plumber testimonials that probably not going to be relevant for them because they want to see what you've done for other roofers, not plumbers. But if you worked with roofers and you have exactly testimonials for a roofer making plus 20 and 30K per month on how the AI infrastructure that you've installed for the roofer, and you show them the exact ROI that this roofer have gotten from the AI infrastructure that you've installed for him, it's going to be an easy sell for you. And also for the service delivery, it's going to be very easy for you to have a high success rate in terms of the service delivery. And what I mean by high success rate also is you're going to have less refund rate and you're going to have less people asking you for a refund. So if you're starting out, if you're making 10K, 20K, please stick with one niche, because literally there is no reason for you to go and work with 10 other niches. With one niche, you can scale your agency to over 7 and 8 figures. So the reason you're not scaling, not making a lot of money, it's not because of your niche, it's because of your client acquisition, because of your sales process, because of your service delivery. It's not because you have to work with 10 other niches, right? So now that you understand the importance of working only with one niche, right now I want to give you some examples of the niches that work pretty well for me. The niches that work pretty well for me, in full transparency and honesty, are contractors. I'm going to tell you why they work pretty well and why there's a lot of people that make a lot of money from contract and why there's a lot of AI agency owners that are struggling to even get 2K from contractors. So what I mean by contractors, HVAC, plumbers, landscaping, locksmith companies, all of them are contractors. And also the contractor I like to work with are contractors that have a short sales cycle. What I mean is basically if you give them a booked appointment, not a lead, I didn't mention a lead because a lead doesn't mean anything if it doesn't get booked as an appointment. So basically once you give them these appointments, they can collect money in less than a week, right? Because if you basically work with a plumber, you give them an appointment, they go right away. Because people call the plumber because they have an emergency. They don't want this shit done in like 3 months or 4 months. They want it done right away. So I like to work with these businesses. Why? Because right away, after implementing our system, you'll be able to see some success, and that's going to eliminate any potential buyer emotion. That's very important. So now when it comes to how we run the ad inside the Facebook Business Manager, all the ads I run broad. Why? Because in 2025, literally 95% of your success comes down to how good is your creative and how good is your offer. Right? Because Facebook is so good at targeting your ideal prospect just from your creative. Because if you target dentists specifically in your creative, Facebook will understand that you're targeting dentists and will target the dentist right away. So now the little hack that we're going to listen to a bunch of these YouTube videos, and you're not going to get that. I want you to listen very carefully because this is the difference between people that make it when it comes to Facebook working contract and Facebook and people that lose and get like unqualified leads. You know, you probably run Facebook ads before, you got a lot of unqualified leads, people that are just broke, they don't have the money to pay you. And I'm going to tell you the exact way how you can avoid that right now. So it's very easy. We do that using a form. And for our case, we disqualify right away people that are making less than 20K per month. And we do that using the conditional logic in the Facebook lead form to eliminate all the bad leads and all the leads that cannot afford our prices. Because anyone making less than 20K per month doesn't have the money to pay you 10K or 5K for your AI infrastructure. Why? Is because if they're making 20K, there might be a lot of money for you, but that's 20K is not profit, it's revenue. And these contractors have a lot of charges and have a lot of overhead. So if they're making 20K, they're probably making just around 5K or 8K in profits. That's why we want people making that more than 20K. Those are the people that we know that can afford those services. So now that we get this out of the way, the other thing I want to talk about is the offer. The offer is really, cannot stress enough about this, is because in the offer, you got to convince people to work with you. How are we going to convince them to work with us? By first, as I said, having a specific ICP. Tell them that we work exactly with niches. They tell them exactly that we work with your kind of business. Second, add in a lot of social proof. Tell them exactly we've done that for other people in this space. And this is the result that we got for this specific infrastructure after applying it for someone in your space. And also add in a risk reversal. So the way you got to think about it is very simple. If you have enough testimonials that you can show in the ad creative, and you don't have to convince people with guarantees and money back because they trust you already with your social proofs, right? If you don't have any social proof, and then you have to add guarantees and everything else. But my style of doing things is, I'd like to throw a lot of social proof inside the ad creative, inside the VSL, inside the form, and also inside the sales call. That just blow them on right away. So risk reversal will not be needed at this point at all. And also inside the sales process, I know that a lot of people need to have those crazy objection handling, those crazy qualification questions and all that. We do all that. We have our normal qualification questions like everybody else. We have our normal objections, but inside the pitch, this is what makes a difference, right? Because inside our pitch, we literally, most people, what they do is like the whole pitch, they're just talking about themselves. They're talking about how the service can basically benefit the client and everything else. For me, I like to make my pitch 80% testimonials, 20% implementation and strategy, right? So I give them my pitch, I explain them my pitch as a case study. For example, hey, we've started implementing this system for this business, and this is basically after 1 week, the result, I showed them everything with proof, like screenshot, testimonials. So I will share with them real proof, not fake proof. So the sales process, the pitch. So 80% testimonials proof, 20% implementation and strategy. That's how we do it. That's how we've been able to turn $742 to $27,500. This is exactly how I think you can do it as well. Let me know if you get any value from this video. If you need one-on-one help to scale your AI agency specifically to $20,000 and $30,000 per month, we've done this for dozens of agencies. I want you to check out the landing page I have below and check out all the agencies that we've scaled to $30,000, $50,000, and even $80,000 per month. See you soon. Cheers.